Sup, fuckers?
Hey there.
How the hell are you guys?
Out fucking standing.
Good to hear.
Amazing. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good.
We're going to try a new segment here. I don't know if this is going to work. I just came up with this last night, and then I did literally zero preparation for it. So basically, we've all just written down a few topics or questions and crumbled them up and put them in a box, and we're just going to draw from the box, and then we're just going to riff on those topics for a little bit. I think we'll just take turns drawing from the box. I'll go first. I'll bring up the topic. We'll just go around the table.
Here we go. What's in the box?
Oh, what's in the box? Okay, I got this paper right here. It's neatly folded. Must be Preston's. Dream vehicle. As in, what's your dream vehicle, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Any budget? Any year?
Okay, you go first.
Well, I've got two. For two majorly different purposes. My first would be a 1964 and a half Mustang. It's a car that my mom really wants. Like, that's been her dream car forever, and I guess picked that up as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're fucking sexy.
For sure.
I don't want to do like too much to it, just completely like just stock. I don't want,
The V6 or the V8?
V8 manual.
289 4-speed.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I'm not trying to go anywhere fast. Just trying to cruise.
Have you seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari?
No, dude. Fuck. I'm actually disappointed because it's been on my list for a long time.
Yeah.
And I've seen clips at my grandparents' house. My grandpa watches it all the time. I've never actually watched the entire fucking movie.
So there's a scene where Ford's unveiling the 64 and a half Mustang, and Christian Bale is like a car aficionado, ex-race car driver, mechanic, blah, 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 and he gives his critique on the Mustang. You should watch it.
Yeah. And then I have a GMC 2500 AT4 Duramax.
What are those, like 110?
Around that, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. There's a lot of the stuff I do, I need a truck.
Yeah.
And I don't really need a diesel for most things, but if it was any budget, that's what I'd go with. I think they get my dick going, dude. They're fucking, ugh.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Spencer, what you got?
Oh, I'm going to be super controversial here, and I don't really have a dream vehicle. So we had this conversation like 2 years ago while we were doffing one time, and DB was there just fucking around, just talking to us while we were doffing and stuff, and Scott was there, and it was right before Scott had gotten his Tacoma, and he was talking about like how he wants this truck and how he's always wanted a Tacoma and whatever, and so DB was asking everybody what their dream vehicle was, and I was like, really, I think I drive my dream vehicle. It runs and it's paid off. But yeah, I've always seen vehicles as like not as a tool instead of like an asset or whatever. As far as cars that I like, maybe like a late 80s GMC Jimmy.
Oh,
Okay.
gangster
Full
pick.
size.
Yeah.
But just because I think they're cool.
Yeah.
They are fucking cool.
But would I want to fucking try to keep that thing running? Probably not.
You wouldn't want to fill it up, that's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's something I really haven't ever really thought about. I really don't fucking care what I drive. I drive a 2006 Altima that has a check engine light that's been on for like 3 years.
It's still doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it gets me from here to over there reliably. So
And back.
yeah.
Yeah, I got to go with a 68 Mustang, specifically a Shelby GT 350. I don't want the 500. It's too much weight in the front end. I love, like, I'm the same. Like, my parents were really into Gen 1 Mustangs. My dad especially. I think he's owned like 8 or 9 different Mustangs
Nice.
over the span of my lifetime. But yeah, that one always stuck out to me because it was like the fastback on it just looked so cool. That sweep down the back.
Yeah.
And the Shelby version had the sequential taillights, and they just looked so cool and so aggressive. And they have a unique flair. And I know people like talk shit on Mustangs. Usually people who are Chevy people and like, oh, a Chevelle's way better. Like, I don't give a shit about a Chevelle. Like, they're cool, but I like this one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not too picky on the color scheme. But yeah, those cars are just like, they're so cool and they're so powerful. There's a reason John Wick went on a fucking rampage to get his 69 fucking Mustang back. All right? It's worth killing 70 Russians over. Yeah. Why don't you draw? Let's see what you got.
Election predictions.
Ooh. Honestly, I haven't been following it. I assume that it's still fucking Trump and Biden that are the front runners. I would like to say that people are smart enough not to vote for Biden anymore, but it seems like that's not the case.
He's just a nice old man.
I think that fucking RFK is going to put a real big fucking dent in both sides. So I think that it's... I feel like Trump is probably going to win. I personally wouldn't mind seeing fucking RFK Jr. fucking take it. But being a third party, I'm not sure if he's going to have enough steam to do it. But at this point, it's like they said, anybody but Trump, anybody but Biden. But I don't think that a majority of liberals feel the same. They're blinded by rage against fucking Trump.
Yeah, they're like, we'll live with this dog shit economy as long as we don't have Trump.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid. Yeah, I'm mostly on the same page where I hate to like beat a dead horse, but if there's any shenanigans with the election this time, there's a chance Biden could take it. But I think a lot of people have buyer's remorse with Biden, like that voted for him and then just watched everything go downhill super fucking fast. I don't know about Trump. Like, he's got a great chance. He really does. I don't know that I particularly want him as president because things were better with Trump, but he would say the dumbest fucking shit.
Yeah.
And that really kind of threw me off in a way. And I will give him credit. Like, they ran an aggressive campaign to twist a lot of his words, but he made it really easy for him.
Yeah.
You know, like what you were saying with RFK, I think he's actually going to put a big dent in, but people still don't believe that third parties can win, which is so stupid because all it takes is one time for people to actually vote third party and have them win to legitimize the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it's no longer a two-party system.
Yeah.
That's how we change that.
And what's really crazy is like him being a third party candidate. He's not really a third party. He's just more in the middle, in between of
Which
his
is
two fucking super far left and super far right candidates. And it's like, I don't know, it seems like more of a no-brainer to vote for somebody that has more realistic fucking views.
I voted third party more than once.
Yeah.
But on my last note on that is, David Brown 2024. I'm just going to write my own name in, legitimately.
Yeah. What if anybody, all the 10s and 11s of people who listen, just write in Dave Brown for president.
My slogan is going to be, how much worse can it get?
I'm going to be honest, I don't really follow politics at all. Never have. don't know if I ever will. I just don't really care a whole lot. And I also don't vote, so I don't put my 2 cents in because I haven't, I guess, earned that right to.
See, I really respect that opinion because I hate it when people talk shit and run their yap about politics, and it's like, you don't go in on November 4th and use your voice in the one way that's the most meaningful. Everything else you have to say is nonsense to me.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's... I think it's just because I don't really fully agree with either side, you know? So I don't know. I don't vote.
Yeah.
Well, you should vote this year. I know a guy.
David Brown.
Right there. 2024.
Free Blue Chew to all the Americans.
I'm gonna give Blue Chew a huge tax break to sponsor more small channels.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel the same way as you. I also haven't voted in a while, but it's because I don't fucking want to participate in a fucking broken system.
Yeah.
And it's like, I follow enough to know like what's going on, but like I'll look at something and then try to like look into it and say what if I'm being played, you know. And that's the hardest part is like, especially with people that just follow campaigns on social media and make their decisions there, and it's like, dude, you're getting one side no matter what. If you're getting all your information from social media, you're just being fed by the algorithm that you know, whatever you watch, they're just going to keep on feeding you shit that pertains in that specific vein. So it's like you're just going to get pumped full of one-sided conversations and never get any opposing views or anything like that. And so that's where it's hard to tell what people are actually thinking, because like, let's face it, most people get most of their information from social media and don't really care to look at the alternative. And
it's true, and it's so easy, like you said, just to be fed the nuggets based on your algorithm that you've looked at, you know. And I think with any candidate, you have to look at their whole spiel and decide if that person's worth it, because they could have the stance that you agree on like gun control or socialized healthcare or whatever, and then you have these other things that you don't like about them. You still need to vote according to what you want. So it's like if you have a candidate that has 5 topics you wholeheartedly agree with and 5 you don't, that's probably not the candidate you want. Versus if they have 10 topics and you agree with 7 or 8 of them and don't agree with 2, like that's reasonable. But where it comes to Joe Biden, I didn't agree with anything he fucking said. I thought he was a loser to begin with.
Well, yeah, I mean, also like these lifelong politicians that just like, you can go back through their history. And yeah, it is a good thing, like if you've said something in the past and you've changed your mind, yeah, that's a good thing. You should probably change your mind as you grow older and gain more knowledge on things. But it's just the way that he's flip-flopped from topics that are just like, you know, saying super racial things back in the day, and then all of a sudden he's like the spokesperson for like anti-racism because Trump's a racist. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
Like, just the fuck out of here.
It's so obvious that he's just a fucking puppet that it's crazy.
Andrew, draw another one.
Going deep.
Come on, dick pics.
Dick pics. Andrew Tate, pretty much same thing.
He is like he is a literal human dick pic.
Yeah.
I recently watched this special, and I found it on Disney Plus. Granted, I don't know if that's because my Disney Plus and my Hulu are together, because you know you bundle them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's just showing up because it's attached to my Hulu, or if it's actually on Disney Plus. But I watched this whole thing. Not a single piece of it was like news to me. I already knew that he was disgusting and he's a fucking monster and he's gross.
Well, tell us about it, because the only thing that I know about Andrew Tate is that I don't like to watch any of his videos.
Well, that's because he's a twat.
Yeah.
So I'll try to keep it brief. I could go on about this all day because of how much I fucking hate Andrew Tate. And so, like, everything he says is a complete lie. He's like, oh, I was the youngest chess champion in this division or whatever, and then they pull it up. Like, people have went out and researched all these things. That's a lie. And then, like, his kickboxing career, like one of his first television debuts of that, you know how it shows their wins and losses? It was like 2-0, and then his very next fight, just a few months later, it was like 99-2 or something like that. And he's actually, yeah, he won a belt, but he didn't like bracket fight like everybody else does. He basically went from the bottom end to challenging the champion and magically won, which that fight was bought and paid for. You watch the fight and you're like, the fucking champion is throwing the fight. It's bad. So yeah, he moved on from that to doing essentially a phone sex service, where he was getting all these girls to come in and basically be these phone sex workers. It's not exactly that, but it's very similar. And he was basically having sex with all of them. And a lot of them say it was against their will. And then that moved on to all of these like online classes you could purchase to take of his that are in like the $8,000 and $10,000 range. Like, what is it? PhD, the pimp and hose degree or something like that. It's so.
So he was like that. What was that show that was like supposed to make you like a ladies' man or something?
Yeah, it's a lot like that, but 10 times more atrocious. So yeah, he's been indicted in Romania for sex trafficking. The way he talks about women, he's like, "Oh, I'm in control, and when women say they want me to hurt them, I take that as a challenge and I fight them." He's like, I slap them and I choke them and then I fuck them and then I beat them up some more and all this. And then some of the other shit he says, he's like, I am the smartest man on the planet. I'm like the real life James Bond. And I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. I literally hope you fall on a pike. But yeah, I do recommend you watch it just to reaffirm to yourself that you're a good person.
That is self-help, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just kind of a shame that like a lot of guys watch him and like he's like a role model to them.
Yeah.
And it's just making just a bad group of dudes, you know? That fucking sucks. It's like that's not who you should be
idolizing.
No, not at all.
Or like I guess changing your appearance based on or whatever. I'm not really sure, but it's just fucking it's not good, dude.
Yeah, I've seen a few, like, his videos will pop up on my feed, like, I don't know why. And I'll watch, like, half of it and just be like, this guy's a fucking idiot, dude. Skip! Why are you showing me this shit? But yeah, I don't... That's the most I've heard about. Like, I knew that he was, like, arrested for something, and but I never really bothered to... So I really feel like a lot of people will spin anything that happens. So it's like any publicity is good publicity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is what they say. And so I try not to feed that on people that I just don't fucking... Like anything with like the Kardashians, I don't click on, I don't watch, I try not to. And that was one of the reasons why like I hadn't watched that roast, is because I heard Kim Kardashian was on that, like, roasting, and I was like, I don't want to fucking pander to her, anything that progresses her, these people's personas, or pushes it forward, or, you know, gives them more shine than I want to give them, you know.
Celebrities who are just celebrities by being celebrities.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know. I've hated him not even knowing about him at all.
Oh, like, the well never runs dry on Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Like, there was I think it was like a year ago, he came out and said he got to spend time with one of his idols, Steven Seagal. And that tells you everything you need to know right there. I do recommend you watch it, because you're going to go, wow, he's way worse than I thought. But he was kind of like one of the big proprietors of that whole manosphere movement kind of thing, which I hated anyway. I thought it was so fucking stupid. And there's a difference between like empowering men and making men, stronger or better in the long run with speeches or words of wisdom and things like that. But these dudes who come out like, no, just fuck as many women as you can and do all these things and start companies and step on people and just tear people up is like, no, I'm not. I couldn't do that. Like, you're trash.
Yeah. It's like, what, in the long run, what is that doing for you? Like, is that really making you feel better about things? Or
Yeah. And
what does that help? Especially if everybody does that.
yeah. And I always equate that to the people who are like, never work for anybody else, never hold a regular job, start your own company, start your own thing. Like, dude, if everybody did that, nothing would ever get done.
Yeah.
Because, like, if everybody is in business for themselves, who makes the stuff? Who drives the trucks? Like, who stocks the shelves? Who runs the cash register? That's not reality. It's not how things work. But, dude, yeah, I could go on all day about Andrew Tate. When one of your idols is fucking Steven Seagal, a notable rapist, yeah, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw another one before I keep going. P.S. I would totally fight Andrew Tate right now. DOJ rescheduling weed to Schedule 3.
What the fuck does that even mean?
So basically, schedules are the different like categories of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So like Schedule 1 is your worst shit, like meth and crack and cocaine and all that. And so you can be charged higher for it, if
Gotcha.
you're caught. But the lower you go on the scale, the less it is.
Gotcha.
Right now, marijuana is scheduled as a Schedule 1 drug. I think fentanyl is scheduled as a Schedule 2 drug.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So you can get in more trouble for having a little bit of weed on you.
See, just that response right there tells me you should be on my cabinet. Because even you didn't know.
So right
now that
now,
you're like, that's fucking stupid.
So yeah, right now they're in Congress trying to pass this law that reschedules marijuana as a Schedule 3 drug that's a controlled substance, but not super punishable by law.
What are your thoughts?
No, I think it should go down to a 3 then. Like, fucking fentanyl has killed so many damn people.
Yeah.
How the fuck is that only a fucking 2? That's mind blowing to me. My opinion on weed is that it should be treated like alcohol. Don't operate machinery. Don't work, under the influence. Just like you wouldn't go to work drunk. You shouldn't go to work drunk. Shouldn't drive a car drunk. Shouldn't drive a car high. Shouldn't go to work high. Should be regulated just like alcohol.
Yeah.
But I think that would be kind of hard to test for because marijuana stays in your system a lot longer than alcohol does. So you could have smoked like a week ago and you get drug tested at work and it pops positive. You're like, well, when did you use this marijuana? You're like, oh, a week ago. No way to prove that.
Yeah.
Where alcohol doesn't stay in your system that long. So if you pop positive on a test for alcohol, it's like, yeah, you used this pretty recently. It's kind of hard to do that with marijuana.
Yeah.
Unless they're advancing science somehow to be able to tell exactly when it was used or how much or whatever. But
Well, I think that's kind of what they have to do is develop a different way to test for it. Because I know that they can test your blood and see how much like THC is in your actual bloodstream. And the higher number it is, like if you just smoked it, it's going to be really a lot higher than like say you smoked weed a couple days ago. It'll be lower. Also, depending on how much you took and how much what your body fat content is. So I think that's kind of one of the things that's holding them back from reclassifying it or like lessing, because they have no way to really test for that. I know that they are trying to work on stuff like that, but I think that's one of the main issues why why they haven't changed it yet is because they don't know how to go about it. But yeah, I saw that news headline the other day, and I thought it was interesting. And it seems like most people now, like back when I was younger, marijuana was like a super taboo thing. Like it was just a hardcore drug, just like heroin and stuff like that. And when I was in high school and I smoked weed, and I was like, nothing. Why are people getting in trouble for this? Because all I want to do is laugh and eat chips. I don't know.
Right.
It's not like I want to go start a riot from smoking weed, but like it's more of a, I don't know, hang out with your friends and laugh type of thing. Whereas like alcohol, I've been in fights from being drunk. I've never gotten into a fight because I was fucking stoned.
Yeah, I agree. I think the number one thing that needs to change, aside from rescheduling it, is changing the way that it's tested for. Because even where we work, it's like that's the number one thing that'll get you fired. Well, that and attendance. But you could have like the best employee and they make one small mistake and they get a UA dropped on them and now they're gone.
Yeah.
Like the company actually lost, not that person. But yeah, if they were able to scientifically test in terms of amount or how recent, then yeah, you could definitely change the paradigm on it where it's like, okay, you have to work Monday morning, but you smoke a joint Sunday night and you're done smoking it, let's say at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to be high for a few more hours and you're going to go to bed and sleep it off for a while. But then if you come in the next day and you get a UA dropped on you, it's going to show positive, versus if they could change the dynamics of the test to be like, okay, it only shows this much percentage of THC in your system, which according to your BMI and your hydration level or whatever, that, okay, you must have stopped like 8 hours ago. You didn't light up in the parking lot,
Right.
And I think that would change everything if that was available. But the biggest problem you're going to have with that is getting companies to pay for the testing, because the testing is going to be much more expensive versus your standard like 32 panel or whatever it is now that they use, where you piss in a cup and they drop it in there and you get instant results.
Yeah.
But it still has to be verified by a lab. But if we could do that on the spot, I think we'd have a better argument for making it like completely legal across the board. And I also agree it should be treated like alcohol. Sure, you can tax it, do it the same as you treat alcohol. But yeah, don't drive, not in public places, all that sort of thing. With certain exceptions, like everybody goes to the fucking concert at USANA and gets fucking stoned, or you get drunk, or both. Stuff like that is kind of acceptable. But if you're like in the parking lot of an elementary school, use your best judgment, homie. So I do think rescheduling it
What
to
if
3.
you're just at recess?
All the kids are just like gelled out in class. They're actually paying attention. They're like, whoa, dude, 2 + 2 is, hold on, 4? That is amazing.
You know what I would do with 4 fucking apples right now, dude?
I could totally go for 4 bologna sandwiches. Like all 4. And chips. Yeah, I've never seen the harm in smoking weed, like ever. It is better than alcohol. It has much more proof that it actually helps with mental illness, and only in like the past 10 years have the science really opened themselves up to investigate like the better properties of that. And I would argue the same with psychedelics,
Well, that's partly because it was a Schedule 1 drug, it was super regulated so that people couldn't run studies on it.
Yeah.
You couldn't run it because it was a Schedule 1 drug, so you couldn't do testing on it. And so now that the laws have kind of changed and they've been, really it was people that were super breaking the law that started testing it on people that were having seizures, and they saw that these certain strains of marijuana would help with seizures. My daughter has epilepsy, and she uses a cannabis product called Haley's Hope that was specifically bred for
seizures,
people with epilepsy, and it's a rescue medication that it's like a nasal spray, and so if she's having a seizure, you just spray that into her nostrils, and it stops the seizure like within 30 seconds.
Dude, that's awesome.
If we don't have that, we have to give her this. I can't remember what the drug is called, but it's a hardcore narcotic that like lights out, resets her whole brain. Like it's like a hard reboot, and we have to monitor her breathing for like 2 hours after, because she'll just pass out.
Wow.
It's almost like ketamine or something like that. It's a sedative that just knocks her completely out enough that she'll just stop breathing and her heart will stop. So we have to monitor her.
Dude, and that's prescribed?
And that's the prescription medication.
Oh, but fucking weed is so bad.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me the story years ago about talking to her doctor about like getting a new medication, and you had brought up the CBD drops, and your doctor was like, yeah, but it's illegal here and I can't prescribe it. Just go over the state line and just get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
Sure, I can't legally tell you just to go to Colorado and get some, but if I was you, I would just go to Colorado and get some. Okay, cool.
You know what's funny about Colorado? Like, after they legalized, the very next year, like when they were working on their budget, they showed a $1 billion surplus in cash from the taxes they got from weed.
Yeah.
$1 billion. Like, they redid so much shit, and they dumped so much money into the school system from that. And that's going to be part of my campaign, is all the tax money that goes from weed goes into school systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Dave Brown 2024.
Dave Brown 2024.
Dave Brown 2024.
Yeah, that's it's so fucking stupid.
It is.
Because like, if weed was totally legal and I didn't have to worry about losing my job, I wouldn't even drink anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. No hangovers.
Yeah.
I'd just be sitting on the porch with my rocking chair, watching the grass grow.
With a big old bag of chips.
Yep.
Yeah. Eating fucking Pringles or something. Diddy controversy.
Oh, Diddy.
Did he do it? Yes, I do think that he did it. So this is something that, fuck, man. I don't know, man. I totally believe that he's a fucking scumbag for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he's alone in that at all.
I don't think so.
I think that he's just the latest one to get called out for it, and people showing receipts for it, you know.
Yeah. He's the fall guy.
He definitely is a fall guy. Who he drags down with him is going to be interesting as he takes the fall. Like, is he going to go alone, or is he going to try to pull some strings on his way down?
He's definitely the first of 10 pins, and that bowling balls are coming. Because, it's totally not just him. And so at first, when all that started coming out, I kind of just was like, yeah, they're all fucking kid diddlers. We all know. Turns out he's like kind of worse in a way, because he's not just sexually assaulting children, he's also sexually assaulting women and men.
Mm-hmm.
And the allegations are just horrendous. And so I kind of started getting into it when my mom would like watch these specials on it and shit, and I'd just be like glued to the TV like, what else did he do? Tell me. And all these people in his camp are coming out against him, like, oh, he did this and he did this, and he's got these cameras everywhere. He's basically like the Black Epstein at this point. Yeah. And just like all the atrocious accusations, and you go, yeah, I believe all of it. 100% true.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think that he's the only one, and it's definitely not the first one to do it.
Oh, even his sons are in on it.
Yeah, I'm sure that he probably learned the whole scheme through fucking Epstein, and just did it on his own area of the music industry as opposed to like politics and actors and shit like that Epstein was more involved with. But using certain tapes for leverage and being able to control people by blackmail and fucking gross.
Well, and I imagine it's hard for a lot of these people who have certain statuses or amounts of wealth or whatever kind of predicated on Diddy himself that don't want to, even though they feel harmed or traumatized or whatever, they don't want to give up what they have now to try to help take him down, because like Ashton Kutcher isn't going to want to come out and be like, yeah, he helped my career because I let him butt fuck me,
Yeah.
I haven't watched that tape in years. Let's check it out. That's just fucking weird, man.
I think it was Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
That said he would go have these he'd go to these parties at his house when he was 14 or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing that just kind of blows my mind, because if I was a parent, why the fuck would I let my kid go out to a party for several days?
Yeah.
With, these people that I know are up to no good. How do you do that as a parent? Let your kid go out to this environment and...
At least Michael Jackson was smart when he did it, because he would allure the parents to other things that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch, was it Leaving Neverland? Did you guys watch that?
Neverland?
Finding Neverland's a movie. Yeah. No, Leaving Neverland is about these, they're obviously men now, but when they were children, they were basically Michael Jackson's play toys. And the question would always come around, why did your parents allow this, and blah blah blah. And one guy, his mom was with him for most of the time, but his dad vehemently was like, no, he's not gonna go fucking spend the summer with Michael Jackson. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And the parents ended up getting divorced because they disagreed with it. But the mom was so enamored with the lifestyle and meeting all these celebrities, and she even talked about it. And I was like, oh, I got to meet Tom Selleck and Clint Eastwood and blah blah blah, and I got to go out to nice dinners and things like that. It's like, yeah, while your kid's being fucking molested, you idiot.
Yeah.
So Diddy took a note right out of that fucking page.
Yeah. It's really disgusting, and I hope that enough of it comes to light to fucking, that light spills over onto fucking a lot of other people that are also doing or involved in this whole ring of fucking pedophilia that they have going on. But
I hope they go down hard, dude. I don't understand that mindset.
oh, they go down hard.
Oh, Jesus. Just don't understand that mindset of being able to do that to a kid. You know?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that to anybody.
Or, anybody in general. I can't wrap my mind around it.
No, I think there's definitely some kind of power struggle in your own mind, especially in a person like Diddy's case, where he went from being a nobody and now he's a music producer, and now he's an artist, and now he's an actor, and he's doing all these things and completing all these really huge goals, and probably thinks he's just unstoppable in the world. Well, shit, where does that line end? Well, this woman doesn't want to have sex with me. Even though I'm all these cool things, I'm going to make her have sex with me. Who's going to stop me?
Yeah.
I'm one of the biggest producers in the world, and one of the biggest musicians, and blah, blah, blah. And it just goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
And I agree with Spencer. I think a lot of it just needs to actually come out to light, and people need to start singing. Everybody's got to start telling their story. And I think the only reason it doesn't happen is because the music industry and Hollywood and a lot of politicians, the dominoes would just start falling.
Yeah.
And as much collapse as we would have to deal with, even as normal people, not just oh, your news feed is jammed with this, it's going to harm a lot of things. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
All these sick fucks need to pay.
Yeah.
That's just reality.
I also have to think about the timing of it coming out, because because it's a big story right now, and a lot of people are talking about it. And right now there is, an election going on, and how much of that is taking over your people's feeds because it's just trying to keep the masses at bay from flipping out over having to vote between these two fucking retards that are going to run the country. Like, hey, well, look at what Diddy's doing.
Yeah. Have you seen this documentary from J-Lo? She's getting a divorce. And, like,
apparently, she used to like to drink orange drink in the hood
in Bronx.
Who fucking cares,
right?
But yeah, hopefully it's one of the dominoes that's going to fall and just start knocking out other. And I do think it's going to spread into politics, and because Diddy was, he was kind of a gatekeeper in the music industry and acting, and he helped out all these, or helped launch people's careers, and did have that power over, but like with the power, he had to have something to, keep the reins on everybody. And
yeah.
And but I did see an interview from one of the guys that was like a security guard at for the parties he would have at his mansion, the Freaknik parties or whatever they were called.
Freaknik, what a cool name.
That's what I think. That's what it was called. His after parties, and he was saying that he overheard Diddy talking about it and saying that was his favorite thing, was like making somebody do something that he knew they didn't want to do, but he could get him to do it through money, and just like knowing he had the power over everybody and anybody around him because he had more money.
I like the people who are coming out and standing against him, like 50 Cent. Some of his spiels are fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, the motherfucker called me up. He's like, hey, when are we going to hang out? Like, we could go shopping. I'll pay for it. And he's like, motherfucker, like, who the fuck does that?
Boyfriends, I guess.
I don't know. They're all sick. We should hang all of them.
Yep.
Dave Brown 2024.
2024. We got this. All right, let's see what we got next.
All right. Hold on real quick.
All right, Spence, you want to read us the next one?
Sure. Let me pop this Cayman Jack margarita.
Those are, like, dangerously good. But if I drink, like, 4 of them, I get heartburn so bad.
Yeah.
And I rarely get heartburn.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. Oh, okay. So this one is... did you guys see the comet that it was like 2 days ago? Or a meteor?
No.
That like went over Spain and Portugal. So that and like other solar stuff that's been going on in our, so all the like solar and lunar eclipses and like the aurora borealis that's been
The Northern Lights.
the northern lights that we can see down here. Do you guys think that stuff is stuff that just kind of always happens, or do you think that something weird is going on?
Well, my theory is there's always something weird going on. It does seem like a lot of meteorological events are happening in like rapid succession versus the other, 38 years of my life where it was like people would talk about it. Oh, there's an eclipse coming, and they'll talk about it months in advance. Now it's just like, oh, hey, by the way, there's an eclipse tonight, or there's one tomorrow. It just seems like so many things are happening so fast that it makes me question, like, what's really happening? Or is it a glitch in the Matrix? I don't know.
Yeah, it could just, I don't know if it's just coincidence or like with multiple things stacking up kind of around the same time. It could just be coincidence. There could be something really going on. Kind of fluctuate the algorithm a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, so Kara was actually asking me about this the other day, and she was like, has there always been this many like solar events and we just didn't really hear about them? and maybe it's because social media, like everybody just like passes along, and so it's kind of in our faces, like every single thing that happens you kind of hear about or know about. But I didn't know if it was, maybe that's what it is. It's these things have always just happened, and we just weren't in the loop of people that would talk about it, and so you didn't really know about it until it happened or like had happened. But it does seem like there's a lot of fucking. And I was actually just reading an article last night about the Earth's magnetic field is changing, and the magnetic field, the sun rays come, the solar energy comes, and it's like solar wind, and kind of shapes helps to shape the magnetic field around the Earth. But that the solar or the magnetic tail that leaves behind from where the sun is and where the Earth is like a trailing energy field, and we call that the magnetic tail of the Earth is changing, and it's behaving differently in the past like 8 or 9 months. So that's why we're being able to see like the aurora borealis down this far, which usually doesn't really happen. Whether that has bigger like things attached to it, like the Earth changing its polarity or whatever, I don't know. But I just wanted to get you guys' take on it.
Well, and it is proven that the essentially the magnetic poles. So the Earth is wider at the equator than it is from the North and South Pole. It's 5 miles difference, and that number is slowly shrinking. It's not global warming, it's totally something else. So there's got to be some kind of reason for that, whereas it hasn't changed in who knows how long. Well, I think we've only been able to measure it for so long. So we don't have like a huge frame of reference over, thousands of years. But something is happening with that that's making that band smaller in the equator and then wider in the North and South Poles, which is very strange. It almost makes you wonder if it's like another Younger Dryas thing coming.
Yeah. Well, that's it's part of where I was going to is like like Göbekli Tepe is about all this shit. Göbekli. So it's it's like a temple they found. It's one of the earliest megalithic sites they found. Previously, they thought that the pyramids were pretty much the oldest megalithic sites, and they were built around 5,000 years ago. And it's like the cradle of civilization from Africa. Like that's where the civilization started. So in the past, like 10 years, they found, I think it was 2006 or 7, they found this site in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe that is a megalithic site that they date back to 13,000 years ago. So it's now one of the oldest known megalithic sites. And they have these pillars, these big stone pillars, and inscribed on the walls are like the constellations and shit. And they're trying to decipher what all of this means. And some people say it was like the star map of what the stars look like, and it was a depiction of the Younger Dryas that happened during the end of the last ice age. They believe meteors hit the Earth and kind of disrupted everything, the whole Earth's ecosystem, and changed life on Earth as it was known at that time.
So Younger Dryas is a theory that the world has reshaped itself 6 times by these huge cataclysmic events, where there are maps of what's called Pangea, where the major continents were basically together as almost one big piece.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, like the poles shifted or whatever, because the Earth spins at 10,000 miles an hour. So when the poles shifted, you had a moment where everything was in free fall. So all your continents, your bodies of water, everything just shifted around at that really high rate of speed. And then when it stopped and the poles stabilized, that's how we have the continents as we know them today.
Gotcha.
And this has allegedly happened 6 times. And so Göbekli Temple, whereas we thought like Sumerians and Egyptians were among the first like human civilizations, and this predates them by 8,000 years. And you're talking about a place that was found totally by luck, where this farmer who owned the land kept being bothered by this stone that was sticking out of the ground. And so he tried to dig it up. And every time he would dig, he'd get further and further down, and then found out that it was like this big megalith. And so he called like these scientists, and they come in and they start excavating. They haven't even finished. They imagine it's going to take like another 15 years to dig the whole thing out. It's so big. But imagine how many others there are that may predate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, carved on the stone was the alignment of the constellations in the sky at the time when these meteors hit the Earth. And they show the meteor coming from a certain point in the galaxy, coming from the Sagittarius.
Yeah.
The constellation Sagittarius, so it came out of Sagittarius, so it has the alignment of where everything was at in the sky, and we're kind of approaching that same spot in the galaxy right now, and we passed through a meteor stream that they think that these meteors came from twice a year, like at the beginning of summer and the beginning of fall. We go through this meteor stream. That's why we see those meteor showers at like end of May and the beginning of November, the Torrid meteor stream. But they say that they believe that there was like a big meteor that hit the world and caused all this like floods and cataclysms across the world, and kind of reset civilizations back to the Stone Age at the end of the Ice Age. So
Hopefully they do it again before November 4th.
November 4th, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's about good timing.
Yeah. I think it was the bugs from the planet Klandathu.
Yeah, there are swarms of crickets, actually, that are taking over southern Utah right now, too.
You know what I think? It's a totally far-fetched ideal, but it makes sense when you think about it. So a lot of scientists, and even Elon Musk, has perpetuated this idea of if you were going to colonize Mars, you need to terraform it first so you could breathe on it. Because importing oxygen would just be like too costly, too time-consuming. So if you terraformed it to have a 21% oxygen rating, as our bodies need, he's like, what you would need to do would be to detonate nuclear warheads at the north and south pole of the planet, and then over the span of the next 1,000 years, it would terraform it, and you would have breathable oxygen. What happens if an asteroid or a meteor hits Earth? Yes, you have this huge cataclysm and all these things happen, but the Earth will restructure its own ozone and air source, and it would be changed. It would be terraformed for something else. So it's not that hard to believe of like, if you wanted to wipe out the human race now and install a newer human race that may need, let's say, a 23% oxygen rating, send a meteor over there. It's going to act just like a nuclear weapon. You will have a fallout of some kind. It will re-terraform itself. And then in 1,000 years, it's ready to use.
Yeah.
Plus, you're going to bury all
Or for the
existence.
dinosaurs.
Exactly. And you're going to bury all existence of all the civilizations, just like Göbekli Temple, Tempe, whatever it is, where when you have this big reformation of continents, it's going to end up several feet under the ground, and it could take thousands of years before anybody even finds it, and then they're still going to be stumped about what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read.
That's why you put everything in computers, so that people can remember it.
It's true. Actually, you etch it on quartz.
Yeah.
Because quartz is like the new like non-digital memory source, or at least it will be.
Really?
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, I saw it on Ancient Aliens, and I went down the rabbit hole because you can etch so much more information into quartz, and it lasts forever as long as it's not destroyed. Versus our computer technology, you think about your phone. Yeah, it's water resistant, but it's not waterproof. You put it in a bucket of water for a week, it's done. You're not going to be able to
blows it up, like the Georgia Guidestones.
That's true. Here's a question. One place on Earth you wouldn't live.
Australia.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
There's too many fucking creepy
Everything
crawlies.
fucking out
Everything
there wants to kill you, dude.
Yeah.
Be walking on eggshells every day of my life. Fuck that.
See, and I thought you were going to make a left turn and be like, their gun control is too strict.
I mean, that plays in hand. I can't even shoot the fucking snake that's trying to eat me, dude.
You got to be like Steve Irwin and just catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the snakes. It's the fucking spiders. And
What
shit
we used to
that
do
get
back
me,
in the
dude.
days, you'd catch a snake, you'd rip its fangs off, use it as a condom for your lady. Is there any other factors of Australia, or is it just the creatures?
Just the creatures. I mean, I think Australia's cool. I mean, there's all sorts of outdoorsy shit you can do. But I don't want anything to do with that, dude. Fucking spiders and big ass snakes that just fuck no.
What's another place?
Probably China. Too many fucking people. Bad air quality. Food that makes me shit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So that like totally negates my next question. I was going to see if you wanted to stop at fucking Panda Express on the way home, but I guess not.
That's pretty American. I'll stop there.
It is super fucking American.
Just go to Red Walk right over here.
Oh, there you go.
Soul Breaks. They have pretty good food. Vegas.
Yeah.
Fucking fair, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kara's got family that lives there, and they, for some reason, love living there. But fucking, I can hardly stand to fucking go there to visit.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
it's so gross. Yeah, I don't see any benefits to living in Vegas at all.
Nope. Fucking hot.
Yeah.
Tourist as fuck.
Yeah,
Like, weird ass people.
yeah.
I mean, people just shooting fucking heroin on the streets, man. That blew my mind. When I went to Vegas, I would just see people shooting up. Like, they didn't give a fuck. Out in the
Yeah.
open, in front of everybody. Thousands of people just fucking shooting up. Dirty.
Actually, so we went downtown on Sunday during the day to go fucking. Was a cultural festival going on downtown, and so we went down there just to walk around and hang out, whatever. And we drove. We were looking for parking, so it was at Washington Square. This thing that's right in between the, like where the library is and the clock tower building. It's
Yeah.
Washington Square. We were driving around looking for somewhere to park, and there's just fucking all these homeless people there, whatever. And yeah, sure enough, there's a guy sitting on the fucking sidewalk, just right off of like 300 East or whatever that is right there, and he's fucking trying to find a vein in his leg, fucking shooting up with his leg.
Dude,
Driving
downtown Salt Lake is fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
Like, there are things I really enjoy doing downtown Salt Lake. Like, the Gateway is cool. Dave and Buster's, stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of cool
have you
shit.
been down there lately?
No.
There's fucking nothing. Gateway, there's nothing in there. There's the restaurants and then Dave and Buster's, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so literally not even worth going anymore. But yeah, it's trying to do anything downtown is just miserable because you have all like the cross path one way streets, and the homeless problem is terrible down there. And yeah, finding parking is miserable, especially when you drive a truck.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you drove a small truck, it would still suck. When I had a fucking Pontiac, like, I could do it, but it was still uncomfortable. But yeah, I hate downtown.
Yeah.
As for a place like I would not want to live, I would say anywhere that's like covered in snow all year round.
Yeah.
Like big parts of Alaska, anywhere like super north. Russia, fuck no. Yeah, I don't like the cold.
I don't mind the cold. I'd rather be cold than hot.
Me too.
I'd rather be hot than cold.
Yeah.
Like that's why I like where we live, because it's dry and it's arid, and when it's hot you can still get in the shade and it does something, versus like having lived in the Midwest where there's no relief unless you have an air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
I'd rather be sweating. There's so much more fun shit to do when it's hot than there is when it's cold.
That's fair. That's
Like,
fair.
I'm not going to a fucking pool party when it's 30 degrees outside.
No.
It's the pool's heated. Fucking. jump
Yeah,
right
but
in
then you
there.
think about the other shit. Like
You
summertime,
gotta get out though.
one of your first things you think about is barbecues. Nobody wants to go out and fucking barbecue burgers and hot dogs, and by the time you get them inside from the back porch, they're icicles, you know?
I think living in North Dakota kind of changed my outlook on it, though, because I used to like the hot a lot. And then I lived in the cold most part of the year. And now I mean, you can always put more layers on. Can't really walk down the street naked when it's hot as fuck. So,
Yeah, you
Well,
can, but
downtown Salt Lake you can.
yeah.
you just
but,
have to talk to yourself while you're doing it, and
Yeah,
then people
and
won't
it's,
fuck with you.
it's acceptable.
Or make fucking sandwiches in the bathroom.
That still fucking gets me. Fucking bathroom Sammys from homeless dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's... Like, if I was going to add up or follow up to that, if there was another state in the U.S. you could live, what would it be?
Montana. It gets cold, but it's fucking gorgeous, dude.
I actually would go with Texas.
Texas isn't bad. It gets unbearably hot.
It does get pretty hot in Texas.
There's no mountains.
Yeah, we've talked about, me and Kara have talked about, and I think I've talked about it here on other episodes about wanting to move to Montana. But yeah, I'd go there fucking right now if I could.
That's my fucking retirement plan, dude.
I'd go work on Yellowstone.
You gotta start looking at buying a property now. Shit's going fucking crazy right now.
It is everywhere, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. While I was in Missouri, Xander had pointed out a couple houses. He's like, dude, that house is like $250,000. I was like, that's a fucking mansion.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's
You get a 1-bed, 1-bath for that here.
so it used to
More than
be able to find
If
shit
it's
like
a
that
trailer,
in Montana in towns like Whitefish and that are kind of like, so Whitefish is kind of like a resort town, a little bit like Park City. It's right by this huge fucking lake, but it's a big skiing town in the winter time. But it's like 30 miles away from Glacier National Park. Super fucking pretty. Like everywhere there is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And we went there during layoffs, and I was looking at like houses and stuff, and they were, higher, maybe $400,000 for a house like the size of this house. Not huge, but bigger than an average fucking house you'll find in, Anyways, so I was like, oh shit, this is pretty affordable. Like, if I sold my house for about the same money, buy and have the same kind of payment, nothing crazy. Looking at those houses now, they're like fucking 1.5.
Jesus.
They've just skyrocketed, tripled in the past 4 years. But I think it's everybody's just kind of looking for a spot to write out the end of the world, I guess.
Preston, read us the next one.
Plus, hunting is super cheap in Montana if you're listening.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite beer and least favorite?
Real soul torture right there.
Oh, go ahead and go.
Favorite beer? If I'm just sipping, I want something like just refreshing. Busch Light. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that.
No,
But-
I balled up my fist thinking you were about to say natty, and I was going to let you have a fat dead leg.
Busch lattes, dude. I had no idea Busch Light even existed until I moved up north. It is fucking everywhere there. That's what they drink. Fucking North Dakota and Minnesota, it's all they drink. You have it on tap in every fucking restaurant. It's at every gas station. You're fucking throwing hands with people at the gas station for their limited edition flavors, the apple and the peach. Right? That's Busch Light and fucking ice fishing is a fucking religion up there, okay? Least favorite, Modelo. Tastes like skunk to me.
Interesting. I actually like Modelo.
I like Corona. Don't like Modelo.
I like Modelo. I don't like Heineken though. Heineken tastes like skunk to me.
Heineken does too, yeah.
Fuck. So just like hanging out, drinking beer. Like if we're drinking beer all day long, Michelob Ultra.
Michelob Ultra's so good, dude.
But it's mostly just because I don't get the shits from it. Like fucking Bud Light or something else like that will just give me bubble guts all the next day.
Yeah.
Michelob Ultra I can kind of drink all day, but flavor wise I would say their Hefeweizen from what's that fucking
Squatters?
no, the German place.
Oh, yeah.
Bohemian, yeah. The Bohemians Hefeweizen is fucking delicious. Or Chasing Tail.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yeah. That Wasatch?
Yeah, that is Wasatch.
Yeah.
Wasatch.
Anything I like Hefs. I like wheat beers.
Yeah.
But yeah. Least favorite Old Milwaukee.
It's fair.
It's pretty fucking gross. Or in high school we used to call it Old Mill Water. Because we were high class and drank fucking natties.
Yeah. I have two favorite beers. One is cold, the other one's free. I think my favorite, like, all around kind of any situation, anytime beer is Corona with a lime. The Corona by itself is fine, but putting a lime in it
Yeah.
just changes. I'm also a big fan of those, what are they called? Mexican Sunrise or whatever. Where you'll open a Corona and you'll drink down a little bit to just below the neck. Put a lime in there, a little bit of tequila and some grenadine. And a little splash of orange juice. Holy shit, I could drink like 10 of those and forget my own name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Corona's a pretty easy go-to. With that said, I fucking hate Corona on tap. Like, give it out of the bottle, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had Corona on
I don't
tap.
think I have either.
I
but
tried it
bottles
once.
away.
Didn't like it, like, at all. And I think it's something to do with the way you smell a beer when you go to take a drink. Which is
Maybe.
why hefts
Yeah.
are so fucking good, because they smell delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And the opposite with like a really strong IPA, when you smell it right before you take a sip, and it's just like, yeah, that's like a pine cone right up my nose, and then it tastes even worse.
Fresh
And,
cut
fucking
grass.
sand IPAs.
Like, there's a few IPAs I really like, but for the most part, like the really strong ones, or fuck, I can't think of the brand. Anyway, yeah, really strong IPAs just don't do it for me. As for a least favorite beer, my dad had a friend and he would buy this beer. It was called Hops Rising.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, put your fucking face in a bushel of barley and take a big whiff. Yeah, it was.
Is that Epic Brewery?
I think it is Epic. But yeah, it was like 10 or 11% alcohol. Just fucking gross. Like, it tasted like rot. Yeah, horrible.
One beer that gets my dick going when I see it. Lightning Kugel's Summer Shandy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, summer
Dude.
shandy is so good.
I get excited when I see that.
That shit is delicious.
So good.
That and the I can't remember what it's like, a German name, but it's like a grapefruit beer.
Oh, those are fucking good.
They're those ones, you drink them down a little bit and then you put some tequila in it.
Yeah, game changer, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not one of those like super manly men who are like, fucking fruity beer is stupid or it's gay or whatever. Like, I don't give a shit. If it tastes good, it tastes good. So like, is it Wasatch? No, I don't think it is. Another company, they make an apricot hef and a blueberry hef.
Is it Uinta?
I think it's Uinta.
Yeah, I think it is Uinta. Like, those are fucking delicious.
Yeah.
And they're not overpoweringly sweet. You just get a little bit of hint of those flavors.
It's like a subtle kind of background taste. It's
Yeah.
really good. It's
Versus
not
like
in the
a
face sweet. Yeah.
like a mango cart that's just
Yeah.
like, how much sugar is in this?
Yeah.
That is something that I am excited for summer, is just having like nice, cold, crisp, fucking fruity beer.
I like them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I also I love stouts.
Ooh, a good
Love
stout.
Stouts.
What is it? Red Rock. They make the best stouts.
Yeah.
That oatmeal stout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bruh.
Yeah.
They're fucking high percentage, but they're good.
They are good. Like, you're only good for one or two
Yeah.
because you get full off of them.
Yeah, very filling.
But they're very delicious.
The only problem with a stout is like you can't. It's a sipper beer for sure.
Yeah.
I can't think of like a whole lot of food that you compare that with. Maybe a dessert, like a fucking tiramisu or something like that. But like I don't drink stouts like I do other beers. I can't just sit there and slam them. They're too filling and they're just too rich.
I like a stout with, and I'm totally going to label myself here, with a charcuterie board.
Okay.
With like good finger foods that have good solid flavors. Because you're not getting full off of the charcuterie board, but you are getting a little bit more filling off of the beer.
Yeah.
And so you are eating a little bit lighter, but you're eating for the flavor.
Yeah.
And it actually does kind of mesh well with like the meat and cheese and crackers kind of flavor.
Stinky cheese and fucking
Yeah, it actually works
Sharp
really
cheddar
well.
and fucking-
peppery fucking meat.
Yeah.
I like a good Guinness too.
Oh yeah.
Like
I
a
fuck the
well
shit out of
poured Guinness.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
bro.
I prefer Baba over Guinness.
I do too on the normal day, but when I'm feeling a little snazzy, yeah, I'll get one of those nitro Guinnesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched some videos on how to pour them better. And when you actually pour it right, that's not even the same beer.
Yeah.
Versus if you crack it and just drink it out of the can, that is not the same.
Yeah. If on my bucket list is I want to go to Dublin, Ireland, go to the Guinness factory.
Oh, that'd be
You
sweet.
do a tour of the factory and then they take you to the roof and they teach you how to properly pour a glass.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't let you have it until you get it right. They teach you how to properly
They're just
drink
like,
it.
yeah, that looks okay.
You hold your arm up at
Do
like
it
90-degree angle and you look to the horizon and you fucking
That's pretty gangster.
yeah. That's like
That'd be a fun,
top of my fucking bucket list to do that. Fucking love
fun
Guinness.
destination fucking vacation.
Yeah.
I had a friend who went to Ireland to go to the Jameson factory,
Nice.
and she's like, the most memorable thing is how much they talk shit on American whiskey. I'm like, yeah, but American whiskey is actually better.
I would take bourbon over any Irish whiskey any day.
Yeah, as far as whiskey goes, that's like third or fourth on my list.
Jameson.
Well, I mean, in terms of whiskey, like cultural whiskey, at the very bottom is Japanese whiskey.
Really?
I hate Japanese whiskey. It's fucking gross.
I have yet to try it, but it's every time I'm at the liquor store, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get a bottle one day. But if it's not good, I'm not gonna waste the money on it.
I would recommend, if you're going to do it, and you go to the liquor store and you pick out a bottle, and you pick it up, put it right back down and go to the bourbon aisle.
That's a safe bet. I'm a slut for bourbon, dude. Yeah. Proper
I'm gonna
12.
say
Proper 12 is not bad.
Proper 12
something
is
that's
good.
gonna probably get hate, but I don't like fucking Jack Daniels.
Neither do I. Tastes like mold.
Yeah.
I
Tastes
think
like mold.
I think that's fair, because Jack Daniel's number 7 is, if it wasn't for the branding, that would be like second from the bottom shelf whiskey. And I love Jack, I really do. But I get why people don't like it. It's very much an acquired taste. It's like if you first start drinking beer and you go right to an IPA, you're gonna fucking hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once you kind of refine your whiskey palate, you go, yeah, Jack Daniels is not great whiskey.
Yeah, I got a bottle of, when we went to the Redwoods, I found this bottle of fucking, Pendleton Rye. It was aged like 18 years or something like that. Fuck, it was so good.
Dude, I'll
They
take
do
rye
like
over
Pendleton.
regular bourbon.
Yeah.
I think rye is so much better.
I think Pendleton's a Canadian.
It is Canadian.
Yeah.
So that's where my hierarchy goes. Number one is American whiskey, / bourbon, / rye, / whatever. Second is Canadian.
Yeah.
Them motherfuckers know how to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite whiskey?
I gotta go with Bullet because they make a bourbon and a rye.
Mm-hmm.
They are very, I don't want to say middle of the road, but I think they're very like appeasing to both sides. Like if you like the high end stuff, you'll also like bourbon. If you like the low end stuff, you'll also like, Bullet. And so it's pretty even Steven across the board. It is just a little sweet, which I like because whether you're going to shoot it or you're going to sip it or you're going to make an old fashioned out of it, you get that little extra note of sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
And so your burn isn't as bad. And when you actually like take time to understand notes in whiskey, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you can actually taste what's in it, not just, fuck, it's whiskey, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely that. What's your least favorite whiskey? Besides Jack Daniels? I want a side note, by the way. So while I was in Missouri last weekend, everywhere I went, they sell booze everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Prices are the same as here, but the availability is nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I went, I would check the aisles to see if they had Blanton's, because if they did, I was going to buy it and mail it to you.
One day I'll get a damn bottle, dude.
I would say probably. So I don't like fucking Jack Daniels, and I don't like Jim Beam even more.
Oh, Jim Beam's fucking terrible.
Yeah. So I would say that's probably my least favorite. Or like Black Velvet.
I would drink Black Velvet over Jim Beam.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite is Scotch. Any Scotch.
Johnny Walker.
Can't fucking do it, dude.
Johnny Walker is terrible.
Yeah.
Which is weird because the thing I don't like about Scotch is the peated, like the peat, you know.
Yeah, the vomit flavor.
Yeah, but it's weird because High West Campfire has peated whiskey in it. It's blended with Scotch, so it's weird that I love that so much and absolutely despise Scotch.
Well, it's also aged in a burned barrel.
Yeah,
So
well, I mean it's blended with bourbons and other whiskeys and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it evens out. Scotch is just fucking ass.
I never really minded Scotch. I didn't really like it. And then Kara said one day, so we were on a cruise, and she ordered a Jack and Coke, and they brought it to her, and she took a sip, and she's like, "Oh, that's Johnny Walker and Coke. I'm not going to drink that." I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I can't drink that. It's Scotch and Coke." I was like, "How can you tell?" "Here, taste it." Tasted it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is Scotch." And she's like, "Tastes like Band-Aids, right?" So ever since then, it's like Scotch tastes like Band-Aids, and I can't fucking unknow that.
So you know what's funny is when you had told me that another time that it tastes like Band-Aids, because I think we were talking about it on another episode. I was over at Chew's house one day, and we were just hanging out, and he's like, "Hey, I got this Japanese whiskey. Do you want to try it?" And we tried it, and neither one of us liked it. And it's funny because all I could think about was like when I taste Scotch, it literally tastes like vomit. Like after you throw up, that taste in your mouth, that's what it tastes like to me. This Japanese whiskey tasted like vomit with Band-Aids in it.
Yeah, I'm not trying it then.
The only Japanese whiskey I've ever tasted like acetone.
I probably would have taken the acetone.
Yeah.
It's not very often that I take a sip of anything and go, ugh.
Yeah.
That one did it for me. Of course, I had to act tough and be like, yeah, it's not my favorite.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's unique.
I feel like I just licked somebody's wound that they pulled a Band-Aid off of and then got disgusted and threw up on the wound.
Fuck.
Fucking back in high school, I used to drink Old English, the OE 40s.
Oh,
We were
shit.
fucking gangsters.
Gangster as fuck.
And, of course, all of us would, like, sit there and sip on it and having to act like we like it. Shit, 'cause it tastes like ass. And, I finally came to realize, like, you know what this fucking tastes like? Tastes like the glue that you lick on an envelope. Exactly what malt liquor tastes like.
You ain't got no Schlitz malt liquor?
Well, we were fucking gangsters, so we had to fucking drink the OEs.
Yeah.
I think one of my go-to bourbons, though, is Old Forester.
Oh, that is a good one.
It's really cheap compared to, I guess, everything else
Mhm.
around it. And it's incredibly smooth. It's actually a bourbon I like when people come to me, because I guess I'm pretty well known for being like a bourbon guy.
Yeah, we know you for bourbon and pocket knives.
Yeah. Yeah, people come to me like, hey, what do you recommend for bourbon? I'm like, Old Forester. You're not
Mhm.
going to break the bank, and it's smooth, and it's good.
It is.
You know? Like, a lot of people will recommend, like, what the fuck's the one with the red fucking wax?
Makers?
Yeah, Makers. A lot of people recommend Makers. I never recommend Makers. I like Makers, but I don't recommend that for, like, a first-time person
Yeah.
trying it, because it's extremely harsh.
I'll drink it if it's offered to me. I'll never pay for it.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I would not recommend that. And, like, if you look online, like, oh, what's a good bourbon to try first? Almost every fucking time, at the very top of the list, Makers. I'm like, that's so fucking bad. Because you're, like, immediately going to give that person a bad taste. They'll never touch another bourbon again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many good bourbons out there that they're missing out on because they tried fucking Makers. Old Forester, guys. Try fucking Old Forester.
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace. That's my go-to. Anywhere, anytime. Buffalo Trace. Top of the fucking list. It's not really available much here. But it's available fucking everywhere else. I'm not going to
Yeah.
get into...
You want to drop
No.
that F-bomb?
no.
Dude, when I was in the airport a couple weeks ago, I stopped in the bar, and the Kansas City airport is totally different. Like, you can go there to the bar and buy a drink, and they'll put it in a disposable cup, and you can take it with you,
Nice.
which is super fucking cool. But I had plenty of time, so I sat there and I ordered one of their local beers, and I wanted a little bit of whiskey, and I was like, well, do you have Bullet? No. Do you have Buffalo Trace? No. Okay, what do you have? He's like, well, I've got Eagle Rare, and I was like, okay. So it gives me 1 ounce neat, and I'm just sipping on it for a while, and it's really fucking good. It is
Eagle
super
Rare is
good.
incredible.
And then I got the tab, and it was $18 for that 1 ounce of bourbon, and I was
shit.
like, it was really good. I don't know if it's $18 an ounce good.
Yeah.
Eagle Rare is made by the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Also incredibly hard to find here.
Oh, I'm
or
sure.
anywhere I've looked. Incredibly hard to find right now. But it's very good.
Let's see what our next one is.
Whose turn is it?
I think it's your turn. We could sit here and talk about alcohol all day long.
Okay, what do we have here? Ooh, Celebrity Hall Pass. Brad Pitt. Fuck. There's so many. I don't know. Go ahead if you have one.
Well, considering I'm single, I don't have to have a hall pass, but assuming I wasn't. Oh, man. I think we all know the answer. It's going to be Gina Carano.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Haley Steinfeld.
Ooh, solid pick.
Yep.
Selma Hayek.
Classy.
now or fucking from the 90s.
Dude, it's unfair how she gets more attractive the older she gets.
Yeah.
That's criminal.
Yeah. I think that my wife would even approve that if I had the chance. So.
She'd be like, yo, can I sit in the room with you guys?
Yeah.
Did she send pics? It's like a reverse cuck.
Yeah, you can watch through. You have to watch through the blinds, so I'll hang some blinds in the room, and you just have to.
Meanwhile, he's like invited us, dude, come over and watch this. We're like in the room.
Bring your cameras.
This is dope.
Yeah, I think that's one that. I guess we'd have to have two other guys to do the French tourist.
You'd only need one for the London Bridge, though.
Yeah. I should have waited until you were taking a drink. I'm sorry. Next topic.
There's the story to that. Anyways.
I'm not telling that one right now.
That's not an on-air thing.
Oh, okay.
Remind me
Have
after.
you been to London, huh?
I'll tell you later.
Oh. Okay, I probably should have put a little bit more on this one. But it's The Rock, not the prison, the so-called actor. And let me put some context. So recently a lot of stuff has been coming out about The Rock. But I figured it's all encompassing. We can talk about his shitty movies and all the things that are coming out about him and just how he kind of all around sucks.
I think that any movie he's in, he has to be the fucking star of the show. And it sucks because there's so many other great actors that he, acts with, and they're kind of just in the shadows because the fucking Rock is there, and it's like, there's other great actors I'd rather fucking see. Like, yeah, you can make some good additions to a movie, but don't outshine other people that are also good actors or actresses.
Yeah. With that said, what's your favorite Rock movie?
Does it fucking Get Hard with
Yeah.
Kevin Hart?
Oh, that's he did like 5 movies with Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah, he did. But he it's like, are you in or are you out? Fuck, what is it? He's like a fucking CIA agent. Or something?
Central Intelligence.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Where he's like recruiting fucking Kevin Hart, and he's like doesn't give him an option to say no, and he takes Kevin Hart on this whole fucking adventure of getting fucking shot at, and
where like he started as in high school. They went to high school together.
Yeah. That's a good fucking movie.
That one's actually entertaining.
Yeah.
Because he plays kind of a doofus.
Yeah.
He's not just like the super big tough guy.
Yeah, I was going to say the same show, that same movie. I don't think I've seen a lot of movies that he's been in. Like, seen like the Disney movies where they're supposed to be super cheesy, but I think that they choose him because he's fucking cheesy. But yeah, I don't think he's a great actor or anything. But yeah, what's the controversy that's coming out about him?
So it's been like a big thing on social media. Let me preface by saying I'm not like a huge social media person. Like, I'll scroll TikTok when I'm bored, but then you sit and watch one of those videos and that's like all your algorithm is showing you. So I like got way down the rabbit hole. So like, he consistently shows up late to set to make these shitty movies. And then when he's there, he's like yelling at everybody, like, let's hurry up and get these shots done and whatever. And like, he won't even take bathroom breaks because of all the time he's already wasted. So he'll piss in bottles and leave the bottles laying around.
Really?
And so like, him and Ryan Reynolds went to blows about it because Ryan Reynolds was calling him out for being super unprofessional. And then like the controversy between him and Vin Diesel in the Fast movies, because when The Rock came on board, Vin Diesel was a star, obviously still is, but like The Rock was trying to take over the whole thing, and Vin Diesel would butt heads with him of more like, no, this is my franchise, which I agree with him. Vin Diesel's not a great actor or whatever, but That is his franchise. It always has been. And like when he made Black Adam, did you guys see that?
No.
Horrible piece of shit. Oh my god, is it?
It's not.
Ah, damn it. That would have been too cool. Yeah, so like Black Adam is originally a villain for Shazam. And while they were making Shazam 2, he refused to be in it because he didn't want to be the bad guy or lose. And it's in his contract that his character cannot lose a fight.
Really?
Yeah. And so he like railroaded the whole Shazam movie, which is terrible because the first one was great. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that. For a DC movie, it was entertaining, it was fun. And he just fucked that whole project. But he like went ahead all the writers and directors of all these movies and went straight to the head of Warner Brothers and was like, you need to make Black Adam the star of the DCEU now. And they were trying to do it, and then it didn't work because his movie sucked dick. And then he's like lying about the box office take and the critical response, which you can look up those numbers at any time, and a lot of people did. And he was lying about the whole thing because that movie did terrible. And then that like sparked rumors for people to start looking up other things where like The Rock says he's 6'5", but everybody who's been around him is like, no, he's at best 6'1" with shoes on. And just like all these big, huge lies that he tells about everything, or like he doesn't do steroids. Bullshit, motherfucker doesn't do steroids.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's got an ass full of needles.
Yeah. Even when he was a fucking professional wrestler, he wasn't as big as he is now.
Yeah, he's 51 years old and he's fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah, so all these controversies have been coming out about him lately, and I'm like, cool, maybe we'll stop having to see shitty Rock movies come out 7 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I try not to look at like celebrity fucking shit that goes on.
I don't either, but when it pops up and it's good and juicy, like I can't help myself.
Yeah.
I'm like a little kid.
If I do look at stuff like that, I'll watch like other YouTube people's reactions to it to give them the fucking views and not the like celebrities their views.
That's why I watch it on TikTok. So the people who make the videos,
Yeah, there you go.
It's the views aren't going to like TMZ.
Yeah.
They're going to
Yeah.
people. With that said, by far and away the best Rock movie is a movie called Faster.
Never seen it.
So I think he has less lines of dialogue than the fucking Terminator. But he has like one scene where he actually has to be emotional but still be this tough character. So he's getting like this monologue from the character who's his mother, and he's just like, he looks like he's really holding back, and you know, he's got like clenched teeth and everything, and then you see tears rolling down and you're like, fuck, he did really good for that. And then he went off and did all the other shitty movies that he's done, and you're like, stop. I'll also give him Jumanji. He was good in Jumanji.
Yeah.
That was a fun. Like I said, like the Disney movies that he's done, I've seen. It's like the character that he's playing is supposed to be kind of cheesy, and so he pulls that off well because he's fucking cheese. He's a cheese ball.
Yeah.
And that's what my view of him is just fucking. So I don't expect him to do these fucking huge movies, and I haven't even seen any of the Fast and Furious movies that he's been in. The last Fast and Furious movie that I watched was like the second one. I think I've seen like parts of Tokyo Drift, but
I gotta admit, I'm a sucker to watch those movies. Not because I like them or I think the franchise is good, but it's almost like an internal drinking game for me. Even if I'm not drinking while I'm watching it, like anytime they jump the shark on some scene, I'm like, this would be a drinking moment. They're pure comedy now.
Yeah.
They're like, fast movies are to action movies is what Ghost Adventures is to ghost hunting. It's the funniest fucking comedy.
Yep.
Like literally, there's a scene in one of the movies where they're like racing on the ice, and The Rock is driving this big truck, and there's a submarine, and it fires a torpedo, and the torpedo jumps through the ice, and it's like skating along the ice, and he pulls his truck over next to the torpedo, jumps out, grabs the torpedo with his hand and like shoves it. You're talking 1,000-pound torpedo. He shoves it with his left hand, and it magically like glides over and takes out a target. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah. I think the last like action movie that I saw with The Rock in it was San Andreas, and I think I watched it on the airplane.
It's that movie's so bad.
Yeah.
That like even if you're on an airplane, you're like, no, I'll just sit here and be bored and turn it off. And his tequila sucks.
Never tried it.
I haven't tried it. I'm not
Terramana?
a big tequila guy.
Like I like tequila, but as far as tequilas go, it's like less than mid.
Hmm.
And it's like $35 a bottle.
Yeah, I think the only kind of tequila that I will actually drink is Patron.
There's a few really good tequilas out there, but that ain't one of them.
And there's one that we got. Is it Casamigos? I don't know. I can't remember what they're called. Kara likes tequila. I fucking don't really like it.
Oh, and one last note on The Rock. He was basically using studio equipment to film stuff for like his side projects and stuff like that, further delaying all these other movies that he's supposed to be on, when he's having like his team go in and take cameras and mics and all this equipment to go film commercials for his shitty products and side projects.
Huh.
That alone, I'd be like, you're fired, dude.
Yeah.
You stole company property.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bucket list items. So, like, things you want to own?
Things you want to do, things you want to own.
Oh, just anything bucket list?
Bucket list.
Gina Carano.
Fair enough.
And I want to be in the room when Spencer's got Selma Hayek.
Do you want a set of blinds or just a chair?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I'll hide in the fucking closet.
I'll be the camera guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. I'm not afraid of fluids.
Yeah.
It's not going to take long.
You can tap me in if she's not finished. She's going to be like, how did all of you come in 5 seconds? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I'll be like Brad Pitt in Fight Club, just standing there like playing with my belly button. You want to get in on this? Or
All right, Preston, let's
fucking
go.
Yellow rubber gloves.
I want to go skydiving. It's one of my bucket list items. And I know you have.
Let's go this summer.
That's fucking cool.
We can go to Ogden.
My mom wants to go too. We've talked about it for years and years and just never pulled the trigger on it. So if I go, I have to have my mom has to be there. I don't think
That's fair.
I'd be taken out of the will. So yeah, she has to be there. I want a fucking boat, dude. I'd be willing to sell everything I own. But even if I did that now, I'd get the down payment. You know?
If you're lucky.
Yeah. I want that more than pretty much anything. Fucking
What
boat.
kind of boat?
Just a fishing boat. Lund Pro V.
How much are they?
They start at, I want to say they start at 85, but the way I built it was like 119. A lot.
That would work if you like lived in LA or something where you could live in it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a,
It's like a bass fishing boat.
yeah, it's just, yeah.
Oh.
It's a little bit more like depth to it than a bass boat. Like a bass boat is pretty just flat on top. Like Pro V has like kind of, I don't even know what to call it. Like just step downs and all that. Like it's yeah. That is like the ultimate fucking bucket list item is to have a boat.
Heard people say the acronym for boat is break out another 1,000.
Yep.
Um,
They're expensive, dude.
yeah. Growing up, my mom had boats and stuff like that. And yeah, they were always fucking something was wrong.
Fucking,
Yeah. But they are fun to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you do like to go fishing in Utah. it was kind of a weird place for fishing or having a boat, just because it's like you can pretty much use it like half the year, if that. But I do know a lot of people that have boats and they enjoy them.
Yeah, I don't really care a whole lot about like water sports, just fishing. With the Pro V though, you can get a ski package for it that you can pull people onto it and shit. It comes with like the little pylon, like pillar thing to fucking tie on ropes and whatnot. I don't really care about that. I just want to fish.
Things I would like to do. I want to go deep sea fishing in like Alaska, like halibut fishing.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Plus, I like halibut, so
Yeah.
and also maybe a grizzly bear hunt.
That'd
But
be
I don't
cool.
know. I don't know if I want to shoot a fucking. I don't know if I could shoot a grizzly bear. Just because they're so fucking cool. I think I'd probably go out there to shoot one and then just look
Attack conscience.
at it.
Fuck, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even like watching an animal in its natural habitat, like that's almost just as cool as
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we
No,
went out.
it's-
My dad shot that bear, and in Montana, and yeah, I just felt bad after. I was like, man, it was so cool to see it, and then fucking shot it,
Yeah.
and it was dead, and then now I'm running through this forest covered in blood. It's fucking weird. But yeah, after that, I was kind of like, I like hunting, but I like hiking. I like the stalking, and then, but I don't really care to shoot an animal just because it's like it's funner just to watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to appreciate them in there.
Yeah, I've actually last time we went hunting, like I ended up buying a tag, but I was like I didn't really carry a gun. I carried a sidearm, and I was carrying my dad's camera, and I was just taking pictures and shit. But like, I didn't really care to fucking shoot a bear at all.
Yeah.
Especially if we saw a fucking grizzly bear, I'd just be like, don't fucking eat me. But yeah.
Yeah. So bucket list. Aside from banging Gina Carano, fighting Andrew Tate, and becoming president, outside of those things.
Fucking pretty deep bucket already
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I'm not going to get to do any of those, sadly. I actually want to swim with sharks. Because I'm fucking terrified of sharks. So I kind of feel like that would be a big moment for me as a
Yeah.
person where, and I'm not talking like get in the cage and be submerged. I mean like get in the water with them.
Yeah.
You know, full scuba kit and all that. And maybe a large caliber spear gun. Just in case I feel slightly threatened. There's not like a whole lot. I really feel like I'm...
What kind of sharks?
The dangerous kind. Let's just go right to the top. Because, yeah, like I said, I'm terrified of sharks.
Yeah.
So just getting in the water with like, you know, like a hammerhead or something like that, that's actually pretty, not quite non-invasive, but not known to attack humans, doesn't seem like it would really push me to that level.
Yeah.
Where I have to actually like force myself to push past, but probably a great white, something like that. Like I would be all tough about it until it was time to do it, and then be like, I don't know if I want to do this. But
Wait, you want me to get in the water, swimming with this thing?
okay, do I have to do it now? Can I come back tomorrow? Like,
I swam with sharks in Guam.
oh yeah,
They were just black tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking 6 to 8 feet long. Yeah, I think the biggest one I saw was about 8 feet long. And they're not known to attack humans, but they have.
yeah.
It's still fucking intimidating. It's not like a great white.
Hmm.
But it is fucking intimidating. Looking down and seeing this giant fucking creature below you that could end your life like that.
Yeah.
You know?
If not, just take a body part
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, we did a shark cage thing in Hawaii with all the reef sharks, the black tips. and white-tipped reef sharks. And I think maybe the most intimidating thing to me was that it was just, so they'd go out there and park the boats, and out there I guess the sharks are so used to the fishing boats that they just, when they hear the boat engine, they'll just go to where the boats are and just kind of swim around. And so they just drop the fucking cage right there, and everybody, you know, you get in and swim in you're in the cage floating on top of the water. But but I think the creepiest thing is just like the lack of, you know, you're like used to being on land and you can hear things coming up behind you or whatever, and it's just like you're watching one shark and then turn and there's like 4 more over here, and then turn around and there's 3 behind you. Like, oh fuck, like zombies coming to get you, but you can't hear anything.
I think that's like the scariest part, is because you're not in your element.
Right.
Yeah.
And I swim really good, not as good as a shark.
Yeah.
And I can only be in the water for so long. I
Yeah.
still have to breathe. They don't. Like, they are the apex predator there, not you.
Yeah. Well, also when you can see, like, as far as you can see, maybe like 50 yards through the water, you can see, and it's just like shark, 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 and then it's just like you can't see anything beyond that because it's just blue, and it's just it's like, oh fuck, how many more are out there? And you look down and you can't see the bottom of the water, you know, the bottom of the ocean, so it just goes down blue and then just gets dark.
Yeah.
So you're just like, it's creepy, it's eerie, but the sharks are super cool.
Yeah.
It's just the unknown that's scary.
Well, and among the other animals that I have an innate fear of, that's like the only one that's reasonable to be around in a near physical space. The other ones are like alligators / crocodile and hippos. Don't get anywhere near either one of them.
Yeah.
You will fucking die.
Yeah.
I did, there was actually a barracuda in my proximity while I was snorkeling. And I was actually a little bit more scared during that encounter than I was with the sharks, because sharks, like, for the most part, they pretty much keep to themselves. Those barracudas, they don't give a fuck, dude. They will
Come and try to take a
they're
chunk out of
fucking
you.
fast,
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
They are
dude.
fast. So
And
we
they
had
have a
to-
cool theme song.
You
Dun,
couldn't
dun,
wear-
dun, 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 dun.
you couldn't wear anything like shiny, because that like attracts them, and it's not necessarily like they want to attack a human. It's just they see something shiny and they're like, oh, what the fuck is that, and they charge it,
Yeah.
and then you have a fucking chunk out of your arm. They're like, sweet, dude. Barracudas are fucking
Yeah, there was one swimming around when we did our shark dive also, and it was like jumping through, like, in between, because there's 2 boats, and then like the thing was tethered, the cage was tethered to both boats.
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like swimming around, and it would jump out of the water over, like, just in between the 2 boats, like right in the area that we were swimming.
New fear unlocked.
Yeah, they're fucking fast, and they
Oh,
zip
yeah.
through like a bullet through
And
the water.
those teeth are not to be trifled
No.
with.
They angle backwards, so if they do get a bite out of you, you can't, like, your flesh is just locked in there.
Yeah.
They're getting a chunk taken out for sure. They're not huge. I'm assuming they can get big.
Oh, I'm sure.
The one I saw wasn't that big. It was probably 4 feet long. So they're not like compared to the sharks, they're not that big, but
Yeah, the
They're
one
just
we
as
saw
definitely a
was
dangerous.
lot more
probably-
scared of that than a fucking shark for sure.
Probably maybe
Yeah.
2 feet long. What we
Yeah.
saw.
We should go skydiving, though.
Yeah,
Totally down to go.
yeah,
When I did it, it was over Zion's.
that's cool.
So it's like a really cool view all the way down, but it's a really fun experience.
Yeah, dude, it's a good thing that I'd be strapped to somebody, because if I had to make the decision to jump on my own, fuck no. Be like, yeah, take me back down. I'm not doing this. But if I'm strapped to somebody, they're gonna force me to go, and I know I'm gonna like enjoy it once I'm out of the plane. But looking down, I'm gonna be fucking terrified, dude.
I don't know. I think it's because I'm not scared of heights. I didn't have a problem with it.
I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of the feeling of falling.
So
I
that,
hate that feeling, dude.
that was the most interesting part of when I did it, was because so I didn't get the option of when I was ready. Like, obviously you have a guy strapped to your back, So I stepped out on this like pontoon step, whatever, and he's still like his ass is still in the plane and his feet are just dangling. And he's like, "Are you ready?" And I didn't even have a second to answer because I was just going to be like, "Let's fucking go." And he's like, "Are you ready?" And we went. And like there was an immediate shock factor of like, I'm not touching anything. I'm not on the ground. I'm not sitting. I'm not laying down. I have literally nothing tethering me to anything except for fucking gravity. And the only way you feel gravity is wind.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's that moment of like my body is in shock. It doesn't know what to do. Even though I'm having a great time, it's just like having trouble processing it. And then like you don't free fall very long because once you reach terminal velocity, like you have to slow down or your chute's not going to do anything. It doesn't matter if when you open it.
Yeah.
You have a certain low altitude opening. So the dude pulls the chute and like the straps tightened up so much and I didn't even realize it that later on that night when I took off my shirt, my ex was like, "You're really bruised." And I had bruises right here from where the straps were because it's sudden.
Yeah.
It's not just like a...
There's a lot of force.
Yeah, it's a lot of reverse thrust trying to go back up and it just pulls you right in. But the hardest thing I had was when the guy was like doing the side to side like serpentine pattern to really slow down. I was starting to get a little like seasick. I was like, oh. And then when you reach the ground, you're like, dude, that was fucking cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So how long is it from like when you jump to when you're on the ground again?
So your free fall is like 10 to 12 seconds. And then the time it takes you from chute opening to ground is like less than a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not very long. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the guy did give me credit because he's like giving me steps as we're falling of what to do when we hit the ground. Like, we probably should have talked about this first.
Yeah.
But he's like, as soon as you hit the ground, start running. Like, as soon as you can feel the ground, start running. And so I did. And when you're waiting to go up, you're watching all these other people land. And they apparently forget that step because they just like, the ground gets right below them and they just put their legs up like they're going to sit down and they plop down on their ass. And you could tell it hurts.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, okay, I got this. We hit the ground. I immediately started running. I was running so fast. The guy strapped to my back like couldn't run because he couldn't make enough contact. And we like stopped and he unstrapped. He's like, that was the smoothest tandem landing I've ever done. And I was like, yes. Cool. After all that awkwardness of having another human strapped to my back like fucking Yoda, it was worth it. Yeah. We got one more. What do we got? Dick pics, finally.
Nice cock. If money was no issue, what would you do? I would not be fucking working, I'll tell you that. Well, okay. I don't want to work, but there's careers that I want to do. And it's the reason I'm not doing them now is because of money. I wouldn't make enough to justify it. The amount of college I'd have to go through, the time I'd have to go through, it just doesn't make sense for how much money I would get for it. My dream career is to be a veterinarian, and then specialize in equine, and be a traveling vet to farms and ranches and work on people's horses and cattle and stuff.
Horse surgeon.
Yes.
Just like
Beth. And
Yep.
Rick and Morty did.
That would be my all-time dream career. But on average, you make about $80,000 a year doing that, unless you are like the dedicated veterinarian for like somebody's racehorse.
Yeah.
You can make millions doing that because that's their livelihood, and you get a lot for that. But to get that position, I mean, next to fucking impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So on average, about $80,000 a year, and I'm looking at 12 years of school, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to make $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
I can make more than that at my job now with no college.
Yeah.
So with money not being an issue, I would want to be a veterinarian and, fulfill my dream career and have my fucking boat.
There you
We
go.
live in the middle of fucking nowhere, Montana, dude.
Got to work on the fucking lottery, I guess.
All I do. Send money to my fucking mother-in-law all the time.
Yeah.
Houston, Texas. Yep. Powerball as much as I can.
Fuck yeah. One day you're going to win.
Nobody will know, but there will be signs, dude.
Yeah, like you don't come to work.
Yeah.
Did Preston quit? No, he's just not here anymore.
My Glock 34 would be finished. Be driving my 2500 AT4. Putting
Yeah,
my
I think
fucking
that,
arm up horses' assholes. And yeah.
I wasn't in tune to that story till just now. I'm
If you'd
kidding.
like a spot in line, I can help you, but...
I think if
You need a practice doll.
Yeah.
money was not an option, I would do everything in my power not to end up with my arm up a horse's ass.
Okay.
But that's just me. I don't know, man. I think I would probably just I would just do a podcast, dude, and like deeply research. Maybe just pay somebody else to. No, I like the research part of it.
I do too.
Yeah, research shit that I was into and fucking maybe buy a spot on like AM radio like George Norrie and do a fucking coast to coast program.
Dude, you could be the new coast to coast guy.
Yeah.
That'd be gangster.
And listen to all people's like crazy fucking stories about shit that we talk about all the time. Just on a much bigger scale. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't work. I might go to school and just like study like history or like archaeology or something like that, just because I think that's fascinating shit. But
Yeah, I would definitely basically do everything that I'm doing now, but I would have a team do the heavy lifting for me. So like the podcast stuff is easy to do. But like the video stuff, basically hire people to film for me and do the editing for me and all that stuff to where, cause there's a ton of stuff that I would do for content creation if money was no option. You talked about doing like ghost hunts at Waverly Hills where you could buy a spot and tell them I want the whole place to myself,
right.
and shit like that where it's not really feasible now. But like if somebody else is footing the bill and all my bills are paid and I have extra money and whatever, yeah, I would straight up just create content all day. I would still do a podcast, still do a YouTube thing. Maybe if that turned into like a TV program or something, that'd be cool. Or I'm making more money on top of that. But yeah, that would just basically be me and my friends just jackassing around with good equipment.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd be like Mr. Beast, only watchable. No, some of his stuff is entertaining. I'm just talking shit.
yeah. Sponsor us.
Oh, and I would never have to pay for Blue Chew because they would be like, dude, let me sponsor you.
Yeah, I'd have all the new Blue Chew shit that they have, which I don't know if they have anything else besides fucking.
They have Blue Chew, Purple Chew, Black Chew, Red Chew.
They're going to now.
Let's see, yeah. I'm helping you guys out. Come on.
You're gonna get people contacting fucking Blue Chew asking about fucking Red Chew.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a fun deal. I thought this worked out really well, even though it was like a spur of the moment. Like, hey, what if we tried this instead of just doing like a blanket freestyle where we have kind of a direction? So I think we're going to be doing this more.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.